So the question is, how do I have perfect crawling, but I don't have sitting? Well, you don't have perfect crawling. You can't skip a milestone, first of all. It's just not optimal. But why do people think that they have crawling when they don't have independent sitting? Independent sitting is just that. You are sitting up. It's not a prop sitting. It's not a pillow sitting. It's not a 20-second sitting. Your child is playing in sitting, right? And so the independent sitting, first of all, happens at 5.5 months. And please, by the way, when I was responding to somebody some people I've known now because they've been posting up other things. So other people might think I'm being abrupt to that person. I'm not being abrupt, and I am abrupt though when I'm texting. This is why I do videos. But when I'm here sitting, right? First of all, with sitting, big things. Not only am I coming to midline with both hands, coming to midline, but I'm crossing midline. So what does that look like? Oops, sorry, got all my little props here for being in Florida. So I'm sitting independently. I come to midline, but I can cross midline. Why? Because I grabbed my feet. These are why all the milestones come into play. And then from independent sitting, right, at 5.5 months, at 6.5 months now, I am able to lie from my back, reach for something, and I sit up. This opens up the pelvic region. If your child doesn't do that, they will not go into standing. They do not go into all fours from the sitting position. And what they'll do is they'll pull up to standing. Pull up to standing is a milestone of the U.S. government. It should be abolished. There's no such thing as pulling to standing. You get in and out of standing through your pelvis, but you do not go in otherwise. 1 second. Hi, Alona. How's Ruben? Then from this type of sitting, because I've come to sitting to and from, now my pelvis is open to go in and out of all fours and then crawl. And that's how it's supposed to work. But if your child can't sit, you're rolling over, most likely head down rolling over versus rolling over up here where you're up. Right? Again, these are where the milestones, you think you have them, but we look for quality here. Right? But what happens is, and you're pushing up, you're pushing up, you're pushing up, and then eventually you think you're going to crawl. That's the only way to get into crawling through that. You're bypassing pelvic movements, you're bypassing spinal movements, you're bypassing midlines, you're bypassing visual. There's too many deviations on that. Yes, you're getting locomotion. You might say you're getting a 4-point crawl, but you're not, because again, to get out of it, what happens is your baby falls down, right? Because if they're not going in and out of sitting, then from crawling, they're not going back into sitting and back into all fours. And that is a really big movement that's missed. So when I go to stand up, I should be up on my knees and I can move my pelvis and I start to stand up that way. I do not stand up by pulling onto something, especially with my toes way out here, and I'm pulling up, because guess what? This isn't standing. You and I can't stand when we're like this. But when I'm here, I'm over my pelvis, and that's how standing happens. And that's how it's supposed to happen. The time-dictated milestones are there for a reason. So every little thing goes into action that leads to other actions. And that's where development comes from. We develop. We can't throw everything into a pot and get spaghetti. We have to saute. We have to this. We have to break it down. We have to add here a little bit there. And that's where we get the quality. It's the same thing with your child. It's really important that they go through all the steps. I know we want the step next, but they have to have good foundations. It's all about the foundations, because if you have good foundations, then you're not saying, gosh, Michelle, I'm 17 months old and my kid's not walking. Well, they're not walking because the pelvis didn't set up right. Again, I'm not saying your child's never going to walk. I'm not saying they're never going to stand up. But guys, if there's a quality that we can offer our children that's going to save them time, effort, add to their cognitive skills, add to their functional intelligence, it's just a no-brainer. We just have to do it. And to sit there and go, yay, 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 come on, you can go, you can a little bit further, a little bit further. I'm just asking you to put your hands on your child and just help them out, and it's okay to do so. But the benefits that you'll get in the long run of your child being able to do more cognitive things, more functional things, more have different intelligence, not be as clumsy. I can go on and on and on. This is your gift that keeps on giving. And that's what's really important for your child. I hope that makes sense to now. There's certain circumstances, by all means, if your child, let's say, has muscular dystrophy, I'll take any type of crawling, right? So it's the act of crawling. That's when the deviations come into play, and they're very important for your child no matter how they do it. But if we're looking for optimal development and the movements that you need to go into soccer, football, high academics and those kind of things, then we need to put it all in there, especially when it's possible to do so. But by not being on top of what your child's capabilities are and the qualities of their movements, then again, when genetics maybe comes into play a little bit later and so forth, what could have been caught sooner because you're just on your child on a day-to-day basis versus, oh, we have a problem? I had no idea, and that's where I ended up. I didn't know Graham would never walk again. It just wasn't even on my plate. And so those are the things that can happen. And I'm not saying they do, but they do. And they can happen to you. They might not happen to you. Why wait for that to show up? Always act like you're on top of it. And especially since everything's available, the videos are there, the courses are there, the step-by-steps are there, this Facebook Live is there. It's all there for you, just to make life easier, not to find fault with your child, but to go after what they deserve and what you deserve as parents. We try so hard later with their academics and telling them to clean their room and do their homework and all those kind of things. But guys, I'm asking you to do your homework and it's okay, and help them out with it. But again, when I see a video, then I can nitpick and find, okay, this is a specific thing why there's a problem. But there is a big problem when your child's not independent sitting and they're crawling. Independent sitting is where you go from horizontal milestones and now you're in the vertical milestones. It's like an X and Y plot in mathematics, and you need those kind of foundation to start going in and out of. And when sitting is bypassed, there's something definitely going on that I want to get a hold of and see if we can get that back if needed, or see if there's something else going on. And that's that. Bye, Gabby.